Before the gates are open, the dealers temporarily set up outside in the parking lot. This is the first chance to get some great deals, or to watch someone else get the great deal moments before you do. This time I lucked out and I picked up some original comic art and a sealed Dino Riders toy that everyone missed. This is the summer show and is usually the smallest show of the 3 shows offered every year. These pavilions, not all of them, but some of them, are filled in October and in April, but not this time. Setup was a little slow at first, and the dealers started bringing out the stuff faster and faster, and it is a rat race. You don't know who's bringing out what stuff, what prices, and all the competition of other collectors and dealers are out there. Right time, right place. Did you pray to the gods of toys that previous night? Who knows what you'll find. One dealer brought out original Pound Puppy Tonka store displays. These large vacuum form displays are just wow. You don't see this stuff that often. And I couldn't resist. I had to buy them. They were cheap at $150. Here we have a Tyco Toy slot car store display, a sweepstakes offer with crushed soda. Amazing artwork, but oh my god, look at that kid's face. Ugh. I hope he didn't use a family member to help draw this. Paid $50. A little bit later on, I caught this bagged original Darth Vader from Kenner for $100. I got it for $90. It did have a little hole in it, but it's still a fantastic deal. As I was picking up the Vader, I overheard a conversation the booth over of a guy asking, "Hey, how much is this carded Lion-O?" And the seller said $300. And I quickly hustled over to the booth next door, and when I walk around the corner, the gentleman is holding the Lion-O with the Energizer batteries, Mumra, and Chitara all carded, but the cards are heavily yellowed except for Chitara, and there is the usual cracks in here and there. But still, fantastic price, and he buys them. And so the world turns with toy collecting. But the seller still had more Thundercats. The original buyer only wanted those 3 characters, and that was it. I asked, and the guy brought out and showed me the rest of the Thundercats that were in the tub, and a couple that were still on the table. And you know what? They had condition issues, as we discussed before. There's the yellowing of bubbles, there's a little bit of lifting, there's a little bit of cracking, but you just don't find this stuff at the shows anymore. And the price, well, the price was a great price. And I decided to work with the guy, and he was very kind. And we negotiated the price down to $1,300 for everything you're seeing in the video right here. It was a perfect pickup, and I'm just going to keep a little bit most likely and let the rest go. Excited about my big purchase, I kept walking around the remaining show. A lot of dealers these days are just asking really high prices on these toys. The show is not the largest show of the year, and I quickly found myself just going through the same aisles over and over, looking for a deal or anything, and just dismayed over the prices I'm seeing. I suspect the market is peaking for a lot of these toys from those 2020 price jumps. I did not pick much else up at the show and decided to meet up with a person in the parking lot to work on a prototype deal. After the prototype deal, I boogied on out and went to the Colonial, a classy restaurant with a good history of ice cream making and wonderful food. I recommend you guys stop by. And here we are with the wrap-up of everything that I picked up at the show. We're going to go through things a little odd, stuff I picked up earlier, stuff I picked up later, but let's hit into it. All the Thundercats you see here were $1,300, which was a great deal, so I can't complain, obviously. Well, let's go through them, because even though they are carded Thundercats, they all have a lot of significant issues, but the price was still very fair. We have a Safari Joe. He does have the spotting on his head, which is not the best, but hey, how often do you find these anymore out in the wild like this? We have Rotaro, one of my favorites, just a very unique looking character. Still pretty good shape, a little bit of yellowing for sure, more than that actually. but still nice. We have the best piece, which was Panthro. Now, Panthro and the Thundercats themselves go for really decent money versus, let's say, the villains. Big bubble ding right there, but still pretty fully attached, and that's my strongest piece from the collection. We have Monkeyin, and Monkeyin was monkeying around a little too much. Look at the bubble on that thing. That is very yellowed. But still, compared to all the rest of the packages, most of the really yellowed bubbles, though, will have some cracking. You just can't avoid it these days with some of these vintage toys. Mongor, which is just such a cool figure. That giant scythe. Very popular, $7.99. Crack on top, but still is a nice Mongor, clean shape. And this still displays. We have Jackalman, yellow bubble, bit of fading, cracking pretty badly around the edges still, but again, for the price I paid, I'm not going to be that upset. We have Groon, the Destroyer. Not too bad, bubble crack as always, but not as bad as the yellowing, which makes me happy on that. Captain Cracker. Now, Captain Cracker is a little more difficult to get clean shape. The silver does degrade on his jaw and his boot. So that's just how it's going to be. Bubble, a little bit of lifting in the bottom there, but still very nice. And the last, but not least, a very clear looking bubble, Vultureman. And that's actually one of the nicer ones, though it has a decent bubble ding. Maybe I should keep this one, actually, because my Thundercats package collection is not a strong collection. And then we'll wrap it up. We have the Energy Pack Laser Sabers. This is a Canadian blue, still fully sealed, but again, a little bit of lifting on the bottom there. It's just how things are. We have the good, like a good Thundercats Energy Pack. You had to explain it to me. Thank you. Bit of lifting on the top, cracking. It's, not good. I'm wondering if it's a little bit yellowed in the bubble or the toy got a little bit yellowed, but still a little uncommon to get. No black saber, which is the most difficult. And then we have a very nice display, but a big rip in the corner there of the orange pack. Then the weirdest, but also very unusual is Pocket Pack Dispenser. Little Thundercat logo up there. These are uncommon. A lot of the novelty items from Thundercats are uncommon to get. So this still actually might bring like $100 possibly. So that was a decent collection. Very happy, but it's not like it was in the mid-2000s or even to the 2010s. People are not just showing up the shows anymore with case fresh stock Thundercats and asking $125 each. It's just to see even packaged Thundercats these days at a toy show, it's more of a rare sight. So with this price, I'm still very happy. But yeah, looking back, I'll probably keep the Vultureman and we'll bounce the rest out. Earlier in the show, in the parking lot before anyone was set up, I grabbed a couple things. The first things I went after was the Power Marcher from GoBots, which are very unique and more uncommon to find. 2 larger robots were made. And Quickstep is the T-Rex, and he just looks amazing. But he's not a transforming toy. But he's not the easiest to get from the final series. So at $50 with no top and bottom to the package, I thought it was a good gamble. Later to find out, it's worth $50. So I can be wrong just as well. But the same seller, I picked up original Marvel Comics Strawberry Shortcake artwork. And they're actually really nice pages. Lots of characters involved. These are the full final inks, pages 8 and pages 9. They roughly came out to $65 a piece. Isn't that crazy cheap? And I found in a little box the guy had not gone through just yet, Ghostbusters Ectoplasm Red Skull, Battle Beast weapon, and Matt Tracker's original helmet. And he goes, you can have those for free. So I can resell this about $15, $20, $10 for the weapon, and about $5 to $8 for the helmet. So that's just, your gas money, right? Could not say no to this. This is an amazing set from the past. This is a bootleg from the 90s that came from Mexico. This is the second generation to my knowledge. And they're all just copies of the Toy Biz and Kenner Batman figures at that time. So here's Toy Biz Superheroes. This is like the basic Storm / Invisible Woman. Then you have Batgirl with her arms up, Robin, and the Human Torch. The first versions of these were knockoffs of superpower style figures, and they were such cheap quality that usually when you saw them in the package, their limbs were shattered and just all over. This guy's arm just fell off. But this is such a fun, unique item, and they don't survive. Like, people do not have these anymore. I would see the Superpowers earlier bootlegs from Mexico at Kane County as well, but that was like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I just haven't seen these at all since. And this came from a gentleman who was shopping in the 90s and 2000s at Kane County, and he brought this back. It was $25. So I was like, hell yeah, happy memories of just the crazy times there. And the best find during the show was a gentleman had 1950s and 60s toys, and that was it. But you always have to check. So in the back of his car, and I couldn't get a photo because I was intensely, oh my God, give me that now. I'm not gonna wait and pull my phone out to get a picture of it and then buy it just in case someone's gonna come around the corner and snap it up. Dino Riders, Pterodactyl, sealed. A little bit of a corner ding there on the side. You can see that reflection there. This was $50, sealed. Runs about $350 to $400 on eBay. I'm going to compare it to my own personal collection piece and flip it, the extra that's there. It makes your day right off the bat at these toy shows when you get that one killer find right off the bat. So you have an extra boost in your step, your mentality, you're excited, you want more, and it's a great feeling. So that made me just so elated for the rest of the show. Versus, of course, when somebody else gets the killer deal right in front of you, and you went, no, and then you're bummed out for the show until you get something yourself. But there was more. This is the Darth Vader bag. There's a little bit of opening in the bottom of it, but you can't pull the figure out. It's still dead mint, flawless. I got it for $90. I can resell this probably for about $150 to $175. But wow, you just don't get Vader that often in the bag with the blue text on it. So that was a great deal. And then I picked up this Transformer Voyager for a friend of mine, $15. Really fair price. They usually run around $60 with the accessories, which the feet are missing. I think one are a gun, but he just wanted the base body, so he gets it for the whopping profit of $0. I obviously going to hook him up and give it to the price I paid, $15. Now some more wonderful items. When they brought these out, I was super excited, and just like with a lot of these new toys, I want to support the companies that are making these amazing toys, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot. So if I waited a little while, yeah, lo and behold, they just get blown out for nothing. On eBay, I already picked up Hank and Diana for $20 with free shipping. Insane. I still need Bobby. I still need Dungeon Master. But these were $15 each at the show, which is just below retail, which was $25 plus. So no problem. Excellent. Glad I waited, and I know you guys probably did too. And now the better stuff. Prototypes, and prototypes. So right off the bat, we have a hand-painted resin Spider-Woman. This is a 2-up sample that was painted for demonstration model at Toy Fair or photography. This was never released in the 2-up form, and I don't actually have too many hand-painted, there you go, resin 2-ups for Toy Biz, so this was absolutely spectacular to have, and it's one I got as a kid. Be a little more careful with that. We have a Spider-Man. This is a resin hand-painted sample. No idea what it goes to, actually. If anybody can help me, this is probably from the 90s, maybe early 2000s. But stuff like this, clean shape, and a resin hand-painted sample, you got to pick it up every time you see this stuff. From Superhero Squad, this is the hand-painted resin hard copy of Phoenix. A little bit of repair on the arm. This is all cast in resin, not plastic, and then hand-painted, which is the best because that is art. You are literally have crossed the level of art. Love Superhero Squad, and even though I'm not going to keep everything packaged in my collection, I will keep all the prototypes. We have Tigra, also a hand-painted resin hard copy, so that means I can pull her arms off. They're all pinned. And that they would probably make about 3 to 5 hand-painted hard copies for display purposes, catalog. And there's a better image of her as a hand-painted sample. So there might be slight differences from the actual production version versus this hand-painted hard copy, because this one came first, and there are some changes in paint decos usually from the hard copy to actual production. We also have a prototype of Jean Grey. So this actually is a production figure, and then they've hand-painted this sample and put on a mock-up card with the sticker applied saying Advanced Prototype Jean Grey. So this would probably have been a mock-up sample to see if they wanted to move forward with this character at that point in the line. With the figure being just reused, there's no reason to make a resin hard copy. Just take a production sample, repaint it up, because Toy Biz was always repainting their toys, and then say, hey, this looks great. Do you want to move forward with this for their She-Force line? And again, hand-painted, love it. I haven't compared it to the production version, but there might be some slight differences to it. And I already have Storm from this line, so this is a great companion piece. I know you guys possibly want to look at that, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at this. This is a handheld electronic game from Hasbro Tiger. This is complete handmade mock-up sample of James Bond 007 with our favorite James Bond. Back to the package, lovely piece, power boat cockpit game. So let's take a look at the game itself. We have it right here. What makes this more interesting of a prototype is this actually comes with an action figure that will fit in the cockpit. Turn it around and there you are. You've got your little LCD screen to play with. Now this is a resin hand painted mock-up sample. This is very close to what it would have been if it was produced. But when it comes to mock-up samples, there are no electronics. We just have a little display module there. And this is probably used at Toy Fair to see if any of the big box stores and other companies are interested in picking up this piece to resell it to the public. And most likely they said no. The entire 007 line was dropped. But this is a fascinating part of the 007 action figures and toy history. Now moving forward, we have Trash Bag Bunch. Just kidding. It's the Toxic Crusader himself. This is a production figure that has been hand painted with an alternate deco. So the chest symbol has been altered to be this gnarly waves coming off his chest. He doesn't have his black pants. He now has blue pants. And these are slight differences that they would do when the Series 3 would be produced. And they would relaunch Toxie himself in that new series. Unproduced and probably one of a kind. Fans of Toxic Crusaders, boom! Original artwork. This is the original artwork for the vehicle. This is not the final package art, but this is close to the final sketch, which would be used to make the final artwork. Still a gorgeous piece. This stuff just doesn't turn up like it used to, and most of it's locked away in collections already. And then we have Toxie himself holding his wonderful mop. This could have been for the package art of the carded figures in the top of the actual package, which was adjusted from what I've seen previous artwork for multiple times. Items like this usually do have some damage after they're used by the artist or even the toy company. They kind of just get discarded. So you usually find with wear and tear like this, especially on this tracing vellum paper, but it is what it is. And I'm just happy to have more amazing artwork like this that just, again, you can't stop buying original prototype stuff. It's just too good and too unique.